an 1861 Enfield Sergeant's rifle, or musketeer, some people call them.
What's that?
They used to use these on horseback
Yeah, but
a lot because they're shorter.
Is that the Union or the?
Both Union and the Confederacy both used them.
Oh.
A lot.
You want me to go get the sword that goes with that?
Yeah, he's got the sword that goes with it too. Yeah. The sights, everything. They would load these, believe it or not, with buckshot and a bullet.
Oh, this thing turned off.
So they'd put one of those bullets that I gave you, and 3-round buckshot in the gun. These would be set up usually around your cannon, because you were firing your cannon, you weren't really using your rifle for very much. So these things would be sitting around the side. This is probably one of the very last ones, because they went to repeaters about the same time this gun was made. So, but like I said, I picked it up at a pawn shop. Has a cap protector on it. That protects the cap from spark. So if you are around any kind of artillery, you don't want your gun to accidentally blow up your artillery wagon or your gunpowder that you're nearby. So they would leave them uncapped a lot of times and just put the brass on here with powder and shot and ball in the barrel, and that would be your Civil War weapon. And a lot of these guns were made in England by firms like Parker Hale. Parker Hale, they actually considered them an original if they're part of the early production, because they built a lot of them off of their original plans. And that's the Confederate artilleryman's
Sergeant sword.
artillery sword.
Is it? Oh.
Yeah, people always mistaken them for being some kind of a Roman sword, but during the Civil War, the problem was with these guys during the Civil War, they couldn't get equipment, so a lot of the equipment could be outdated by 50, 60 years. After the battle at Gettysburg, they hardly ever issued any swords after that. People usually had handguns. But that was one of the antiquated, outdated weapons that they gave to the artillerymen as well, as an outdated rifle musket. But they do shoot fun. They do shoot good. This one shoots pretty good to point of aim, and it's good for about 200 yards, but I wouldn't try and shoot it any further than that. I've had other friends that have shot it and they can shoot it way further than that than I can. But to be all honest, 50 to 100 yards is no different than a 30-30. Except it's a lot bigger hole. But yeah. He found that in the house here.